Guys, I was super excited about an interview that didn't happen with AT2. Didn't happen yet. He's probably still a bit skeptical about me. I have a channel, Gaslit News, and that's where I want to interview him over there because that's where I moved YouTuber news. And so, yeah. So if you guys are here from Gaslit News, check out the YouTuber news playlist because I should have posted that in a link to the community post that I'm gonna post. So yeah, guys, today we are here because my last video I did, the last PLF late night, you know, with Chrisean, talking about Chrisean, and you know, they did get one like. That was probably Chrisean. You know, one dislike. And it didn't do so well because I noticed that I guess a lot of people like that are even driven to the Chrisean content are like her, maybe her core fan base or something like that. But here's the thing, you got to understand that this channel doesn't make much at all, right? It is just a platform where I can speak on the things that I'm actually passionate about. I'm passionate about love. I'm passionate about relationships. I was young and in love, you know. This is why I say it's so, you got to be careful about what you make content about. And so when I became interested in that relationship, it's like, in some kind of way, almost, not that I became a part of it, but it becomes like a part of your life somehow. So it's like, oh my gosh. And then I used to play with Barbie dolls, right? So it's like, okay, I have this platform where I can review the show because then the relationship turns into a show. So then that becomes appropriate to talk about then, you know what I mean? And I actually stopped. I did probably less and less content when the show was over. It sort of went, so that's natural. But at any event, you become a part of it. And I just, having the history of playing with Barbie dolls, you tell them what to do, you know what I'm saying? Again, having this platform, you give your advice and this and this and that. You know, somehow you think that, you know, if you're saying some things, it can influence the person to do the right thing. And, you know, if you look like a healthy person and you sound like a sane person, then your advice can be knowledgeable, credible. If you have children that are productive. So I've shared all that on my channel. That, you know, I have children that are productive citizens of, you know, the United States, and, you know, without arrest records and any of these things, you know what I mean? Far more moral compass, you know, that there's no need for me to add, but because you get the idea. So I thought that me sharing how I felt about the situation, you know, that would be helpful. It drew in a crowd, you know, I don't know if it drew her and Blueface in particularly at some point. You know, I would think so by now, but do they care? Who knows? So the last video, when I said that, you know, I don't know what you want, you know, because at this point, do you just want to pay Terine to just kind of keep the baby? Because you can't go. See, here's the thing. There's no point in time when you give your child over to someone for any amount of time, and they're not like hanging out with cousins for the weekend. It's not something that the child themselves initiated. It is like you needing a babysitter. And this is more than a babysitter, this is caring for the child for this amount of time. Anytime you're comfortable with doing that, everyone notices that. That means just that. You are comfortable with being without your child for certain lengths of time. So people see that, people know that. So you open the door to that thought process, to those troubles, to those woes, to these issues that we are going to talk about here. Because this is an issue. an issue. And so when I said that, I'm not coming from a me place. I'm coming from a watching you do what you're doing place. I think it doesn't matter, as I can share the audio anyway. That's coming from a me watching what you're doing place. And so it's like I see a mother who feels comfortable with being away from her child. I am not such mom. I've not actually had any time away from my most recent child, my other two children. One who is trying to get a good view for both of us. The one who's nearly grown, and the other is an adult. So even with those children, out their entire lives, I think we were apart for 2 weeks, and that was hell. That was a nightmare. And I regret feeling that weak that I needed to do that at the time, that things got so bad for us. My children were very small, and I was a young mom, and I thought that I wanted to see what my life would look like if I would be able to do better without them. But I had nothing. We come down to nothing. That's why I definitely didn't want to be out there with nothing with them. And they had fathers who had roofs over their heads, and that were had incomes, and they just hated me. So when things got really bad, I asked them to take them. For all of 2 weeks, I did not make it out there in the street. I humbled myself. I asked my mother. I humbled myself to the Lord first, to Jesus Christ. Well, I finally admitted that I can't do this. I can't do any of this. I don't have a plan. I want to be with my children. I don't know how to do this with or without them. I admitted that to God, and then it seems as though I know now that it was the Holy Spirit that spoken to me and said, well, go back to your mom. Go, do it. And I'm thinking, oh, she's not gonna, this is me literally talking to myself, and that's the only other issue. At that time in my life, I hadn't come full circle with Jesus Christ and calling him by his name, Jesus Christ, and repenting in the name and through the blood of Jesus Christ. And it's not just a one-day thing. It's not just you get baptized thing and you're good. It's an everyday thing, your relationship with him, if you care. And so in any event, and so then you can see, and so the progression, so there, at that time in my life, I had gone down to where I had nothing. I thought that, maybe it was because I was a single mom and the kids were dragging me down. Maybe I could just do this just like that. Well, it turns out I wasn't that kind of woman. If you have nothing, all you have is your body. I wasn't willing to sell that to get anything. So, the gift of gab can only last you so long. Being, attractive can only last you so long out there. It wasn't for me. Jesus indefinitely was and is made for me. And for me to be with the children that I actually brought into the world. So, and then you see the progression. I mean, you don't know me then, but even to tell you that I was homeless at a point in time with 2 small children that didn't know that. They just knew that one day we were all in the house together, and then one day we were separated. They were with their dads. They said to them for 2 weeks. But I mean, I had spoken to my children up until this point, to prepare them the best way that I could. And again, we were reunited by God's grace. very quickly. Too long for me, but very quickly. And in any event, so when you do this thing, when you show people that you can be without your children, that's exactly what you're showing them, right? And so in your situation, you have money. So right now, Terine is praying with her children. I don't want to really have them up there like that, but she has them on her TikTok, so I'm assuming they're not too small of children. But I'll have a little more respect even, or being a little more thoughtful even in their mom is being in this moment. I'm just not interested in doing that to kids. I don't like putting children on camera. I don't put my children on camera. The world is a wicked place. You don't know who's watching and why. And so in any event, world being a wicked place. So I had said all that to say that when a person like you gives their child, right? And again, as I was speaking in the last video, it's clear that something's not, your son is not confined to a stroller. He cannot walk. And so that does indicate that something is not okay there, that there may be some special needs that are involved. And that's totally fine. He just needs to have the special needs met. It's none of our business. It's just that you put the rest of your business out there. You don't get to pick and choose what people pay attention to and what people speak on. No one does. No one in the comments, no one watching. It doesn't matter. Because everyone is still going to speak and see, and she's going to keep on putting her life out here, and the sisters and everyone else for people to just kind of comment on and to have an opinion. So in any event, but I am here to offer sound advice and clarity, right? Because there's a lot of fluff mess going on. So there's money involved. There's jealousy. That can breed hatred. Does Terine sincerely care about Junior? That's the question. I'm not sure of. Because here's the thing. So I hope I wrapped up that last thing with, what you did. You opened that door when you were able to separate from your children, from your child. And so she saw that now by being you, a person with money, she saw that as an opportunity. See, because you even mentioned that you were giving her money in your, I think this was not a situation of jealousy we saw. You mentioned that is this Ruby Guy channel? Yeah, so you mentioned that you gave her money multiple times. And cash after cash after, and she had a baby. So you gotta understand, people are getting used to that money. This is really sad. This is a really sad, cruddy, dirty, filthy mentality that some people have. So she's not earning this money. She's agreed, like you even said, and that I even heard her say about a year ago that, she's willing, and I think I found that too. And it's definitely on TikTok that they've pulled it all up. And you guys can search for that. Terine said it, and Chrisean said Terine said it. She's agreed to keep the baby without payment. She wasn't worried about that. He definitely looks happy. Now he can stand up. So who's to say he can't walk? He can stand up, so who's to say he can't walk? They said he's all, oh my gosh, so maybe that's why they say she has him confined to a stroller. Or maybe all he can do is stand. Yeah, well, he's different. My son's different. It's okay. Is he safe? So here's my issue. Okay. So back to this. So Terine, she's getting this money. It's not being earned. It's like you have your sister's child. So she's giving you, the money to fund his stay and a little extra. She happens to be wealthy, right? Or I don't know which one is more, because Chrisean's not rich, right? She got a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? I would say that she got a couple dollars. It's like her money seems to kind of come and it can just stop because it's like based on streaming and her personality and what's going on. And you guys are messing up her brand deals. This was really messed up, Terine, even doing this and putting her through this. So she's not really earning the money, but she's getting it and she's getting used to it. So by you giving the baby to her and you're giving this money, you should have never given it. You should have always had limits with the money that you gave, always something reasonable if you were going to do this. Because I thought she could be trusted with the child. It seemed like she could be trusted with the child, and the child definitely looks happy, looks safe. I can't remember what I saw on that table. I'm gonna have to go back there, and I hate to do this because he's on there, so I have to blur it out. So as long as all this is okay and that he can't possibly open it, then I think that should be fine. I just, you saw the little thing and it's like a little trail. I'm like, is that weed? I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, in any event, so she's getting this money. You should have set some boundaries and limits with the money if you were even going to do something like that. She's getting used to it. She's not earning it. She's not. So now all of a sudden you want to take the money away. You want to take this income away? Well, it's also a bit deeper than that, because remember, she agreed to do this for free. So she loves this little boy. And you want someone that loves your child to take care of him. That's what we want, someone that would love and protect our child like our own. So there's a bond forming there. This is his aunt. This is her nephew. She's formed a bond. The other family members. So it's not just you and Terine watching the situation. It's your son. It's the family members. It's Terine and her heart. It's Terine and her pockets. It's Terine and her muscle that's growing bigger now in the financial area of the house, because now mommy's getting this money from. So now we're getting some DoorDash. We're getting this. Look at this. Terine, this is proof in the pudding. This was 6 hours ago. Terine's hair looks the same. And I believe you guys got her hair done like a week or two ago. She still has the same hairstyle. So she's not getting this money. She was not getting this kind of income before. And it looks like everyone in this room needed the income. And there was a relationship formed. So it's like, and then we see you, daddy, and you're whining with Tadashi, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like you want to be the baby, the big baby, So yes, it would allow anyone to formulate the opinion and the perceptive of thinking, okay, it might be best if the child just stays where he is nurtured in a family already, and you're helping this family out financially. It's going to look like that to a lot of people with the eyes just looking out from the outside in. Can you imagine what it's doing to the eyes that are inside? What it's doing to the hearts of the people that are connected to the situation internally? You have to think, Chrisean. At some point in your life, you have to think, and you have to be able to, if you cannot put your son first. I thought you were ready to put Jesus first. So in case you don't know how to do that, you just go to this. And I've got one over there. That's my husband's. You just go to this. You literally go to this. You don't go to a preacher to explain it to you. You go to this. There are actually parts in here. This is the best part. The verse finder is at the end. You should be aware of that, Chrisean. And so there's things wherever you, so for reputation, for respect, for sin, for suicide, for this, for that. And we rebuke the spirit of suicide in the name of Jesus Christ, okay? We rebuke that. That came up. And I'm going to tell you something. That's something that I also feared, and I rebuke from this girl's life, right, through the blood of Jesus, because you guys put a lot of pressure on someone when there's like all these videos about this person, and whether it's a true statement or an honest opinion or a factual thing, it's a lot for one person. She would literally just need to not pay attention to the internet. I like the old Chrisean, who just remained silent, who would not ever respond to the people, I think that I don't know how long you could keep something like that going as a social media person. Oh, well, there's an idea. You could just maybe like never ever go live and just do your own thing. Like you can kind of save it, contain it for your own, like YouTube or something where you just do those kinds of things. I don't know. I can be innovative, but I would need to know, people have to have moral compass and parameters, you know what I mean? What is it? What are the prompts? What are the, I don't know. But, so it's just unfortunate. It's all a very unfortunate situation. I'm wondering, what did Terine do in this moment?
When I asked you to come get the baby, you didn't want to come get him. You tried to put my text message, try to act like I told you to come because I didn't want to beat you up. I'm keeping the baby. That was never the case. It's not like that. Anybody that know me know that. That's not true. Okay.
But I don't believe her. And I was watching this, and there was several things. Testing on the mic, testing on the other mic. Okay. So, I don't believe her. I believe, because in the video where she's sitting down, and I kind of don't even want to lose the screen with this one, because it gets a little psychotic. In the video where she has this on.
All right. Now, so me and mine, we load up to go get the cake. While we grabbing the cake, give a phone call. Okay, they go that way to the bar. Okay. I'm grabbing the cake. Boom, I go get the cake. We go to the spot. We get there. Baby needs some milk. When I get there, I'm thinking, you hungry? No, what can I feed him? I'm trying to get boom. I leave to go get baby milk.
Okay, but look at. And okay, I'm just actually reacting to what they even put right here. This is the kind of stuff she has to deal with. Chrisean's sister Terine reveals Chrisean Jr. only drinks milk still at 2 years old. She never said he only drinks milk. He's 2 years old. He would drink milk and foods and whatever. Maybe they just don't have milk in the house because he's like because he's little. He's still considered a baby, especially in our culture. We call, like, they're gonna be our babies for life. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, whatever, the baby needs milk, the baby needs a sandwich, the baby needs this, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is just sad that they actually wrote this on there. But regardless, in this whole little live she was saying about how she knows how to fight. She was talking about fighting, and she can really get down, and she can really do this and this and this and that, and she's not gonna go back to her old days, all this and that. So it's just like, why do you even bring that up if this is the situation where you say people know you're not even like that, but you set out your own mouth, like you brought it up. And then what did she do? And this needs to be sent to whatever government agency she went to that day. Why are you? Because she has an envelope. She's speaking vehemently, basically like, and this is only a clip snippet of it. Basically, like, you forced my hand, you did this and that, you forced my hand, I'm gonna clear my name, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make sure I don't got nothing to do with it. So it's just like, you're leading us to believe that you went to CPS and you start spewing lies, or did you go to the homicide detectives about Ronnie Doe? That's something. Now that is worse, right? I think that, well, the little boy looks like Ronnie Doe. I said that. He looks like him. He just looks like him. You know what I mean? I think Ronnie Doe and Blueface favor each other as well. Here's the thing. Zeus Network did, and I believe it said like Quest Diagnostics on there or something, or something diagnostics. They did paternity testing. They showed us a paper. So if that paper wasn't true, then what was that about? And does Blueface's family, i.e. Clarissa and and Blueface's dad, Jonathan Porter Sr., do they have a case against Zeus to like sue on behalf of Blueface, Jonathan Porter Jr., for like pain and suffering, character defamation, like, and whatever else their lawyers can concoct and conjure up, because that's really wrong, because that is actually 100% where he got the idea from, is when he saw that paper. So I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys. This is a lot. So Terine did one of the other things, and again, by this piece of the puzzle being away from the family, by this income being taken out of the family, she's angry, she is hot, and I think that's all that Chrisean would have to do, is just want to have her child back, and then that would be an issue for someone with that kind of well, here's the thing. The mentality is wrong, Terine, because you shouldn't have allowed yourself to get used to money that you did not earn. You were doing a favor, and you were being compensated financially for that favor. And you have to keep your heart in line, and there shouldn't be any relationship that you form that you cannot depart from, except for your relationship with Jesus Christ. And then, you being Christian, you should know that. You should actually feel that. And so if you feel that, then why are you doing this? And then here's the biggest issue. And this is the last point I'm going to make, then let you guys get out of here. You went to these people, and if you went to the CPS and you brought up issues with our baby, they are not just going to go, okay, Terine, you can have the baby. And Chrisean is not going to go, okay, you can have my money. She's not going to do that. And they're not going to do that. They're going to say, oh, it's an issue? Okay, let's check things out. If they find an issue, then they're just going to take the baby. Then no one's going to know what's going to be going on with Chrisean Jr. No one's going to know if because they're not just going to give him to you. That's not how that works. And let's just say they give you the benefit of the doubt because you're the one that had him recently. And let's say, okay, they're still going to check out your home. And if they find things that are wrong with the home, it's not going to work. Number one, if they are to see this, if you are in that CPS office right now making this video, they're not going to give you the child. They're not going to give you the child. They say, look at her. She's enticing a situation. The child isn't safe because she's actually having a back and forth with the mom on social media. Look at this. It's not just the mom. This is all they're going to do. And all these children are in the house listening to it. So then they're gonna make sure there's adequate housing even for the child. Is there even a room there for Chrisean Jr.? This baby, I hope not. But with what she's doing, it'll wound up in the system because of what Terine may or may not have said in this little office place that she's in, and that's a shame. So on here. So then they've got another sister, right? And then there's claims of mental illness there, and the back and forth is still going there. Here goes the mom, right? So you're inviting social workers in to look at all this kind of thing. This is what Terine did ultimately, if that's where she's at in this little office space. Meanwhile, Taseki just sits back and chills. Isn't that something? I knew she wasn't going to leave Chaotic alone. I said that. So then you got this going on. There's one with the daughter here where the daughter even jumps into it. This is like, I think it's like once you click on it, it's like a whole video of all this stuff. It's probably this one. But yeah, I think it's this one. And so eventually, So you got these two ladies on the other end speaking of it. So let's say if it is being written down as Blueface's family, well, they'll probably have more chance of getting the baby than. But then they've got Terine's daughter on here, also on social media speaking on it. So it's just, it's not something that is going to go the way that Terine wants it to go by her inviting this office. Now, that's if it's CPS. If it's homicide and it's got something to do with Ronnie Doe, we ain't got nothing to do with none of it. Most you can do is like this video. If you like this video, share it. If you agree with a lot of things I said and you think that it can be helpful to the situation, if you know any of the parties, share it with them. And consider subscribing to the channel for the next Princess Life at Late Night. Yeah, I'm not just going to be talking about Chrisean and the Princess Life at Late Night, but like I said, looking at the analytics, it is like what a lot of people like to see, want to see. I actually did want to speak on advice for Chrisean. So moving forward, now but again, that's why I said, I don't know what you want, because you got to make a decision. It can't be a situation where you're going to be able to drop your child off for these lengths of time with anyone and expect you to just get them back, except for the child's father. You could be in a conundrum there. And then you're going to have to figure out how to do this thing with just you and Junior, streaming. You have to get people around you that actually really, really care. It looks like it's time for the child to be tested for autism if he's not already. I'm not going to assume if he's getting help for one thing or the other, but he's definitely got to be tested to start there. I think it's time. But if you already know, then you already know. And if that's the case, then you definitely got to figure out a way to make money with your son at your side. Yeah. And you actually gotta give it to God, Chrisean. You gotta give it to the actual maker and creator of the universe by way of his son, Jesus Christ. All right, guys. I'll see you next time.